Hello everyone, my name is Rose and welcome back to Cheap Lazy Vegan. If you are new here, make sure you click that subscribe button and I hope you join me for future videos. Currently I'm doing 30 videos in 30 days, which means in September I'm posting one video a day for the entire month of September. So hopefully you guys will join me for that. And yeah, let's get on with this video. For this video, I'm just going to be sitting here talking to you guys. I've got myself a cup of coffee. I know. It's like we're having coffee together. And look at this mug, guys. Here's some mugspiration for you guys. It says, if you always do what you've always done, you will always be where you've always been. Bit of mugspiration. Last time I did one of these vegan talks videos, I asked you guys on a poll card, which is like one of these things right here that like pops up and asks you a question. I asked you guys what you wanted me to talk about next, and many of you guys have chosen the topic, do vegans make a difference? So I thought this will be my next topic. So today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on this topic and on this question. I think I have quite a bit to say. I haven't really planned it out yet, so let's see what happens in this video. By the way, if you really like these types of talking and discussion videos, make sure you give this video a thumbs up, and also any suggestions on what you want me to talk about next, just leave them down below in the description box. So can vegans or do vegans make a difference? So when I first started basically looking into veganism and eliminating animal products from my diet, a lot of people, especially my friends around me, would comment, and one of their main criticisms was that you're not going to make a difference. You're just one person. Why would you put yourself through that? You're not going to be making any sort of a difference. There's no reason you should be doing that. Yada, 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 yada. And I was actually a little bit surprised that people had that kind of attitude, because personally, I never have that sort of attitude like you're just one person, because in the end, we are all just one person. It's just we all come together as a community. And like, that's the whole point. The fact is that every individual and every individual action does make a difference. We're not living in our own individual bubble. We're not living in our own individual island. We're all living together as a society. So whatever actions we take will in turn make an impact, whether small or big, it will make an impact. So I was a little bit surprised that people had that kind of attitude, and this question still comes up. Even vegans will say, I'm not even sure if what I'm doing is making a difference. So hopefully this video will get you thinking a little bit. Maybe we can have a nice healthy discussion in the comments section. Let's see. So firstly, I just want to say that the question, do vegans make a difference, is already a very subjective question. Like, it doesn't actually have much of a meaning. It's very abstract. What does it mean to make a difference? Everyone has a different opinion and a different idea of what makes a difference. You know, you could make a difference to one individual person. Every individual person can make a difference to one individual or another individual. And we all have made a difference to another individual. Whether we know it or not, we've made a difference. But are we talking about on a global scale? Are we talking about changing laws, changing policies? What are we talking about? So it's a very kind of a wishy-washy abstract term that doesn't actually mean anything. So you could interpret it in very different ways. I'm going to try to discuss it in a variety of different aspects and from different angles here, and see if we can, I don't know, come to a conclusion. But again, there is no right or wrong answer to a question that is very abstract and doesn't have much of a meaning on its own. When we talk about veganism on a small scale, from individual to individual, I guess I understand why people get quite disheartened, because we feel like, as vegans, you feel like you're like the only person that's doing what you're doing, and you feel like it's like you against the world, and no one else understands and no one else gets why you're doing what you're doing. But the fact of the matter is, it's not just you. You know, look at the internet. Look at all of these new vegan restaurants and vegan chains popping out. Restaurants, you know, catering towards vegans. More and more vegan options. Big cities all have, you know, quite a few vegan or vegetarian restaurants. I mean, 20 years ago, this was unheard of. So if you were the only individual that was going vegan, or the only individual that was against the rest of the population, then these restaurants wouldn't exist, because obviously there has to be more than just one person or just a few people for these restaurants to pop up and for these establishments to exist. So I know that it might seem like that you're the only person that's doing this, because you know, everyone kind of lives inside a little box. Everyone lives in the little box of their own life, and you know, in the box there's the people that they know and the places that they know, but beyond that box there's so much more. So try to think outside that box, and don't think that, you know, you're the only person that's doing this, because for every person that's thinking about going vegan, there's probably like 20, 30, or 100 other people that are also thinking the same thing. Another point that I want to make is that in the end, even though we might not be able to completely get rid of the animal product industry, and we might not be able to completely fight off meat, dairy, and egg industries, doesn't mean that what we're doing is pointless, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't make a difference to somebody, and it doesn't make a difference to some lives. Because in the end, for every one person that stops eating meat and stops eating dairy and stops eating eggs, that's lower demand. Like right there, you're lowering the demand right there. And that means there are many animals that are being saved in the process. The lower the demand, the lower the supply, and that's how it works. That's how the economy works. And yes, maybe in other parts of the world the demand is rising. I think in China the demand for animal products is unfortunately rising, but still, like, if you stop contributing, that still contributes to the lowering of the demand. Even if overall it might rise, you're still contributing to helping animals. So just because you can't completely eliminate an industry, just because you can't completely eliminate all evil in the world, doesn't mean that you should participate in the evil, and it doesn't mean that you should continue to do things that you know are not really morally correct. I mean, just because you can't end world hunger or solve world hunger, it doesn't mean that you can't lend a helping hand, and it doesn't mean that you can't feed a starving child if you come across one. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, it's not just always about making global changes, but it's about small steps. I mean, all global changes take small steps. It doesn't happen overnight. Nothing ever happens overnight, especially something like this. I mean, if every individual thought that their actions wouldn't make a difference, then there would have been absolutely no social progress or changes that ever happened in our society. Think about all of the little changes that we've made as a society, and all of the things that have changed even in the last few years, in the last decade, even in my lifetime. So many things have changed. Did it change overnight? Of course not. It changed over time, and over every individual making small changes, and every individual doing things and spreading the word and talking about things, and this builds up. It builds up to make a big difference. Every individual action builds up to make a big difference overall. I'd also like to bring up something that might bring things into perspective a little bit, because I find our society very, very ironic and very hypocritical very often, especially when we talk about vegan issues versus other issues. The things that people say about veganism would never be applicable to other things in life. So for instance, political votes, voting for your political party, or for your next president, for your next prime minister. That happens, what, once every 4 years or so, depending on the country you're living in, depending on your policies. A lot of people during political votes, they get really hyped up. So a lot of people go in to vote, you know, a lot of people go in to vote for whoever they want to be the next president or the prime minister, and they go in so they can cast their vote, so that they can at least have a voice in what is called a democracy and choose who is going to lead their country for the next 4 years or so. And I find it very ironic that people think that this makes a difference, but something like veganism, something like what you eat every day and what you purchase every day and what you consume every day, that doesn't overall make a difference. I find it very ironic that people don't understand that what you purchase is a huge factor in you making a difference. Your purchasing power is sometimes a lot greater than your political voting power. You vote with your dollar, and the economy speaks. The economy speaks very loudly. You know, if people stop buying certain things, they'll stop making those things, you know? So voting for your political party, I'm not saying that it's wrong to do so, and I still do encourage people to go out and cast their vote. And I know a lot of people say, if you didn't vote, then you don't have a right to complain about who's leading the country or whatever. And everyone, you know, gets all hyped up about voting, and yet somehow people don't understand that your purchases that you make every day, the food that you consume, the products that you're consuming somehow doesn't make a difference on a daily basis, 3 times a day, 365 days a year, times 4 years, compared to 1 vote every 4 years, and not even to choose a policy, only to choose the person that's going to be making the decisions. So you don't even have the power to actually make political changes with that either. You're just simply voting for, you know, one old rich white person to the next old rich white person. Well, maybe not so much anymore, but you know what I mean. What can you do as a consumer? What can you do as an individual? If you think that political voting makes a big difference, but what you're eating every day, what you're buying every day, and what you're consuming every day doesn't make a difference, then you need to take a class in economics and understand how the economy works. And a lot of people might say, well, like, we're not going to be able to make any political changes if we simply just, you know, stop buying animal products, whatnot. You would be surprised at how much the economy drives policy. If there is a lot of money involved, it's going to make a big difference, which is why the animal product industries are so powerful and have very strong links to politics, because they have so much money. There's so much money involved in animal agriculture and animal products, so the politics are going to go along with it. If they don't have money, they don't have power, and they will not have political power. So in the end, you have the power, right? Like, I don't feel like I have power politically to go and make a difference in the fucking parliament or whatever. I'm not saying that politics or going out to political rallies or trying to, you know, delve into political issues doesn't make a difference at all. I do think that all of these things make a difference. But I just find it a little bit hypocritical and a little bit ironic that people don't understand that veganism or what you purchase every single day makes a difference. I also want to talk about some of the changes that I've seen, even in the very short time that I've been vegan, the different vegan companies that have been coming out. I mean, even in my short time that I was living in London for 2 years, I've seen vegan businesses just thriving. I've seen more and more vegan businesses coming out. All of these businesses that are already existing, implementing new vegan menus, which is really awesome. Like Pret a Manger, for example, they now have this whole new veggie campaign called like Not Just for Veggies or something like that, and they have all of these vegan sandwiches and all these vegan wraps. When I first got there, they didn't exist, and then during the 2 years they've implemented this, and the last year they've been pushing it out because they've seen a huge increase in the purchasing of their veggie products. So because of that, they've realized, oh hey, there's a trend here going, people are liking the veggie products, why don't we put more veggie products in so that we can increase our profit? In the end, this is profit, you know, it is profit driven. You know, they're not necessarily doing it for the kindness of their hearts, maybe some people are, but in the end, when you purchase more vegan goods, companies will listen because that's where the money is going. So that's one example, you know, Pret a Manger, and they're doing really well. I'm not sure what the numbers are, but I know that they're still doing very, very well. They have new veggie things coming out all the time, and I know for sure that I've shopped there a lot more after they've implemented the veggie campaign. Another example is Wetherspoons. Wetherspoons is a huge pub chain in the UK. It's all over the UK. I don't know how many restaurants they have in the UK. It's basically like a discounted pub where everything is very cheap, and they've recently implemented a vegan menu as well. Zzz's also has a vegan pizza and like a vegan menu. There's so many different restaurants that I've noticed, even just within the 2 years that I was living in London, that have implemented vegan options and vegan products. And vegan, even if you look at Google Trends and Google searches, the word vegan gets searched so much more, and I believe it gets searched more than vegetarian now. 20 years ago, barely anyone even probably considered vegetarianism. And nowadays, how many people are vegetarian? How many people are vegetarian considering going vegan? Even within such a short frame of time, so much social change has happened. That didn't happen because everyone just randomly decided to get together and all collectively go vegan. This happened because each individual person went vegan and decided to spread the word, or, you know, talk about it, or you know, make videos about it, or, you know, create recipes, or even just being vegan. Just even if they don't really put out any content or talk about it, maybe they're feeling really good or they're looking really good and people are asking them, hey, what's your secret? And then they say, oh well, I've been following a vegan diet. It makes a difference. You're watching this right now. You're not living in some sort of deserted island where no one can talk to you, no one can see you. You are living in the society that you live in today, and every individual action makes a difference. Stop pretending like we live in some individual little bubble everyone lives in like a little bubble. No, we all collectively live together. We're human beings after all. We're very, very social creatures, and every individual action makes a difference. Anyways, I believe that's all I had to say. It's not as long as I thought it was going to be. I'm not even done my coffee. Anyways, I really hope you guys are enjoying this 30 videos in 30 days challenge. Let me know down below what your thoughts are on this topic. Make sure you give this video a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure you click that subscribe button so you don't miss any videos in the future. If you like vloggy type videos, then you can subscribe to my vlog channel. I'll leave a link to that in the description box as well. And I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys, thank you so much for tuning in.